Hello everyone, and welcome to this second video where we are discussing about selecting appropriate state to register with its Board of Nursing if you wish to immigrate to the United States of America. This is a follow-up video. The first video we talked about how to go about the process of doing NCLEX on your own. And we said one of the important things you need to do is to select the BON to register with. So the Board of Nursing you register with, most probably you'll find yourself working in that state as a nurse, and therefore there are important things you need to consider generally before you settle for a certain Board of Nursing. So one of that things you need to consider is the demand for nurses in that particular state. So different states have different demands for nurses. There are shortages of nurses which have been declared in different states. You can get the information about the state demand for nurses from Nurses Journal, normally it lists expected the declared expected shortages for nurses in different states. For example, now between now and 2030, some states have already declared their expected vacancies. So like states like Tennessee, we have states like Texas, we have Washington, California, Florida. They've declared quite a huge number of nurses that they expect they will have deficit. So selecting such a state normally will give you an edge. You will not have to look for an employment for long without getting it. The second thing or factor I think is important for you to consider is the type of nursing licensure that is being offered by a certain state. So there are two types of licenses in the United States of America for practice of nurses. One is called nursing a compact licensure. So nursing compact licensure enables somebody to practice in different states. It is a multi-state license. So in case you migrate to one state and feel like you may want to relocate to another country, nursing compact licensure will enable you to move without difficulty. So the other kind of licensure is known as a single state licensure. So we have some states which practice that still. A state like Alaska, you're doing nursing, a single state licensure. So you can get this information freely from Google, which country, which state are offering the nursing compact licensure, which enables you to practice in different states. So the third thing I feel you need to consider before you select a state for you to go and live in the United States is to look at the tax regime in that state that you want to go. Yes, taxes, we are crying about taxes here in Kenya, and taxes are levied by government world over. However, there are some states that have more favorable tax regimes. So, for example, we have some states in the United States of America that do not levy income tax, meaning what you earn through your work is yours. So your income is not taxed. So you may have to look at that. And there are about 9 states within the United States of America which do not levy tax on incomes from employment. So states like Alaska, Florida, Nevada, New Hampshire, South Dakota, Tennessee, Texas, Washington, and Wyoming, they do not levy income taxes. However, it is not only good to look at income tax, you can look at other components of tax and see whether they are favorable for you, so that at least you can be left with something. The reason people want to immigrate is to go and earn. So you don't want to earn it and spend it. You may need to build your future life. So another thing you may have to look at on a state before you are settling on a state where you want to practice as a nurse is to look at the cost of living in that particular state you want to go. Some states in the United States have very high cost of living. So you may want to settle in a state which has got something like at the middle of the classification of cost of living in those particular states. So some states, the state with the highest cost of living in the United States is the state of Hawaii. Hawaii is an island, people want to go there, many of them, so the cost of living there is high. California follows the suit. We have New York, Maryland. Those are some of the states with the highest cost of living. We also have some states with the lowest cost of living, states like Wisconsin, Wyoming, West Virginia. The cost of living there is low. However, it is good to note that the wages normally are paid based on the cost of living in a state. So, a state with the highest cost of living, you will find the rate of payment there is higher than the state which have got low cost of living. So that's another important aspect you need to look at. You may also want to look at weather of a state where you want to go. So you are coming from an equatorial country like Kenya, where normally we don't experience things like winter, we don't experience summers. Our weather normally is mild throughout the year. It's palatable. So when you move to these other countries, you realize that weather can be quite harsh. For example, yesterday I was seeing that in countries like Canada, the temperatures were around negative 34 degrees. So that is serious winter, especially here where our temperatures normally do not go below 10 degrees, and that is positive, plus 10, and not negative like we are seeing in those states. So generally, there are a few states within the United States which normally do not experience winter, and if they experience winter, it is usually mild. So like